Animals and human language. We know that creatures can communicate, certainly with other members of their own species, but is it possible that a creature could learn to communicate with humans using language? To answer this question, we will first consider some special properties of human language. What is communication? We have two different types of signals in communication: communicative signals and informative signals. The informative signals are those that we aren't doing intentionally, like a sneeze or a nervous behavior. Communicative signals are those that are intended to tell something. Another property of human language, it is displacement. Displacement, it is the ability to refer to things in the past and the future and even other places. Animal communications seems to be designed exclusively for this moment here and now. For example, when your cat says meow, it means meow right now, because animals don't have the ability to refer things in the past and future. Another property of human language is arbitrariness. That is the ability to see a connection between signs and icons and transform them into sounds and words to correspond to objects in the world. What is productivity? It's another property of human language. That is the ability to create new expressions and utterances by changing our linguistic resources to describe new objects and situations. The communication systems of other creatures do not appear to have this type of flexibility. Another property of human language is called cultural transmission. That is the process whereby a language is passed on from one generation to the next. We acquire a language in a culture with other speakers and not from parental genes. For example, an infant born to Korean parents in Korea but adopted and brought up from birth by English speakers in the United States will have physical characteristics inherited from his or her natural parents, but will inevitably speak English. It is clear that humans are born with some kind of predisposition to acquire a language in general sense. However, we are not born with the ability to produce utterances in a specific language, such as English or Spanish. We acquire our first language as children in a culture. The general pattern in animal communication is that creatures are born with a set specific of signals that are produced instinctively. Duality is another property of human language. What is duality? It is the two levels of sounds and meanings. We have the physical level at which we can produce different sounds like B, N, and I. None means anything on their own. In a different level, we can put them together so that they form a meaning, like bin or nib. This duality is one of the features of human language that gives us the capability of produce a large number of sounds of sound combination which are distinct in meaning. Among other creatures, each communicative signals appear to be a single fixed form that cannot be broken down into separate parts.
Hi, I'm Francisco Miguel Valencia Aguirre, and I'm gonna talk about the differences between human and animal language. Um, First, we have the duality of patterning. By humans, they distinctive sounds called phenomena that are arbitrary and have no meaning. But animals don't communicate by arranging arbitrary sounds, which limits the number of messages they can create. Um, Next, we have creativity in human. In humans, new words can be invented easily, but in animals, have to evolve in order for their signs to change. Displacement. Humans can talk about remote, abstract, or even imaginary things that aren't happening in their immediate environment. But animal communication is context driving, that they react to stimulus or indexes. Next one is inter interchangeability. In human, any gender of human can use the same languages. Animals. Certain animal communications in the animal world can only be used by one gender of that animal. And the last one, we have cultural transmission. Humans acquire language culturally words that must be learned. But in animals, the way that animals communicate are biological or inborn. And that's the differences at human and animal language. Thanks
I'm
for
gonna
watching.
talk about the chapter 2 of the book. In this chapter of the book says that the human language is a very unique kind of communication, but it doesn't mean that the animals can understand us. Apparently, under the impressions that the animals follows to the human being said is not right because the standard explanation is that the animal produces a particular behavior in the responses to a particular sound stimulus or noise, but doesn't actually understand what the words or the noise means. It seems difficult to conceive of animals understanding human language, then it appears to be even less likely an animal will be capable of produce human language. This means that the animals recognize the noises. For example, when the I don't know the human going to give them food, they recognize the sound of the recipient of the food is. And in this chapter says also that the humans don't see a lot of how the animals communicate to each other. Um, they produce different signals to another species for communicate. And this is all for my part.
Human-animal communication is easily observed in everyday life. The interactions between owner and pet, for example, they use a form of spoken. It's not language as itself, but it's body language, and the animal grasps some words to understand the owner and also uses the body language to understand what the owner is trying to tell them. Also, with word repetition in birds, it's not usually a linguistic or a language form because the birds just repeat what they're trying to tell them. What they tell them, the birds just repeat it. It's not what they want to say by themselves. It's not what they're thinking. They just repeat what they tell them. Also, you can't maintain a conversation with your pet or with, for example, with your dog or cat. You can. They can understand you, and you can understand some of the things they're trying to tell you. But like humans, you can maintain a conversation with them. Will you use, as I said, the body language, and they grasp some words to understand you, and will they use the body language so you can understand them? For example, that's what it is. In the 18th and 19th century, the animals were used for entertainment. For example, there are dogs that can do math, and they use pigs, cats, mostly dogs, that they can do math and they can understand the owner in some languages. Well, not in one, but in 2, 3, or even 4 languages, the same thing. And the pet, the dog, the cat, the pig, they understood the owner, what the owner was trying to tell them. Well, in conclusion, human and animal communication, it's good. It's good, and we're taking big footsteps to try and understand them even better, understand what they're trying to tell us, and well, it's good.